Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Rebecca, a psychologist and relationship coach. And today, I'm going to expose something that 97% of older men never even notice. A subtle move women make when they're the ones trying to hit on you. It's so hidden, so ordinary, that most men mistake it for politeness. But when you finally see it for what it is, you'll never look at female behavior the same way again. So before we dive deep into this psychological truth, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon. Because what you're about to learn could flip your understanding of attraction upside down. You see, men often think that women never make the first move, that women only respond, they don't initiate. But that's not true. Women absolutely initiate, just not in the way men expect. They do it in a way that protects their ego, their reputation, and their emotional safety all at once. And that's why most older men, logical, direct thinkers, miss it completely. You're used to action-based signals, not emotional ones. She doesn't walk up and say, "I like you." Instead, she'll ask you something that sounds innocent. But it's not a question at all. It's an invitation. It might sound like, "Do you come here often?" Or, "Can you help me with something real quick?" Or even, "Are you single?" said with fake casualness. She's not looking for an answer. She's testing your energy, your awareness, your confidence. Women don't ask these things because they're curious. They ask to see if you'll catch the signal. If you look away nervously, hesitate, or over-explain, she reads it instantly. You didn't get it. But if you stay calm, smile, hold eye contact, and answer in a grounded, masculine way, you've just unlocked the game she started. Most older men, especially those over 35, miss this because they've been taught to respect boundaries, be polite, and avoid misreading women. Noble traits, yes, but attraction isn't built on politeness. It's built on polarity. And if you can't sense her emotional language, she'll lose interest before you even realize she was interested in the first place. This subtle question, her hidden opener, is her way of saying, "I want to see if you can read me without me having to say it." Because the truth is, attraction for women starts not in conversation, but in how safe and seen she feels when she looks at you. Most men never realize that a woman's interest hides inside her curiosity. When she asks you something that seems random, it's not about the words. It's about what she's trying to feel. She wants to experience that spark of emotional chemistry without risking rejection. So instead of saying, "I find you attractive," she frames it as a harmless question. But if you listen closely, really listen, you'll notice a softness in her tone, a spark in her eyes, and that faint, nervous energy she can't quite control. That's not coincidence. That's attraction masked as inquiry. Older men, especially the emotionally disciplined ones, often mistake these moments for small talk. You've been through life. You've seen flirtation, drama, and heartbreak. You've grown guarded. So when a woman casually asks you something, your logical brain interprets it literally. You answer the question, not the feeling behind it. You think she's being polite, but in her world, she just risked vulnerability, and your detachment feels like rejection. Women are emotional creatures by nature. They navigate attraction through connection. So when she asks something like, "Do you live nearby?" or "Are you always this quiet?" she's not interrogating you. She's offering you an opening, a chance to meet her energy without being pushy. If you respond with warmth, wit, or calm confidence, she feels seen. But if you stay cold or overly serious, she feels dismissed. Here's the psychological truth. Women use questions as emotional probes. They measure your awareness, your presence, and your ability to create safety through micro-interactions. She doesn't want a long answer. She wants to feel your essence. That's why she'll look for how you react, not what you say. Your tone, eye contact, and composure tell her everything she needs to know. And the more emotionally attuned you become, the more you'll notice. Women flirt with you far more than you ever realized. You just weren't trained to recognize it. Society conditioned men to think attraction is physical pursuit, not emotional resonance. But women operate differently. To her, the question she asks isn't information seeking, it's emotional signaling. So next time she leans in and asks something small, something seemingly meaningless, pause, look her in the eyes, smile lightly, respond in a way that's grounded, not rushed. In that moment, She's not testing your intelligence. She's testing your energy. And if you pass that test, everything shifts. Here's where it gets deep, because this part isn't just about attraction, it's about emotional awareness. You see, when a woman asks a man a subtle question, she's not only expressing interest, she's also scanning for something primal, emotional safety. A woman's nervous system can read a man's energy before her mind can form a single thought. She feels if you're present, grounded, and emotionally safe, or if you're restless, defensive, and trying too hard. That's why one simple question from her can carry 10 layers of meaning. Think about it. When she says, "So, what do you do?" she doesn't really care about your job. She's listening for emotional cues. Does your voice tighten with insecurity or relax with calm pride? When she says, "Are you here alone?" she's not asking for logistics. She's feeling whether your solitude is loneliness or strength. The words are irrelevant. It's your energy signature she's decoding. And this is where older men often have a hidden advantage if they know how to use it. Because age, when refined, carries a quiet power. Women can sense emotional maturity instantly. The problem is, most men over 35 suppress their natural masculine calm in order to fit in with the fast, reactive dating world. They forget that stillness is attractive, that silence, when held with confidence, makes a woman lean in, not pull away. The moment you stop over-explaining yourself and simply be in your presence, her feminine instincts notice it. It's not arrogance, it's stability. But here's the catch. She can also feel when that calmness is fake, when it's a mask to hide fear or disinterest. That's why authenticity is everything. If your energy doesn't match your words, she'll sense it before you even finish your sentence. So the next time a woman asks you something out of nowhere, instead of rushing to respond, breathe. Let her see that you're not rattled by attention. Hold eye contact, not to dominate, but to connect. That moment of grounded stillness tells her without words, "You're safe here." And that's when attraction flips. She's no longer asking out of curiosity. She's drawn in emotionally because you've given her something rare, a man who doesn't perform for her attention, a man who simply exists in his truth. That's magnetic. That's masculine energy at its purest form. And it's exactly what most women secretly crave but never say out loud. Now let's talk about why so many older men miss this moment completely, and why it costs them genuine connection. It's not because they lack experience, it's because they've been conditioned to believe that attraction is logical, linear, and earned through effort. But attraction, especially from women, doesn't follow logic. It's intuitive, it's emotional, it's about how she feels around you, not how much sense you make. Most men spend their energy trying to say the right thing, impress her, or prove they're different. But here's the truth. Women don't remember your words. They remember how your presence made their heart feel. They remember the calmness, the grounded tone, the slow smile that didn't need approval. That's what imprints on her nervous system. So when she asks a question that seems like small talk, she's really asking, "Can I relax around you?" Older men often approach these interactions with too much caution. You've been through life's storms, divorce, rejection, betrayal. You've learned to protect your peace, and that's good. But when your guard becomes a wall, you block the very connection you crave. A woman senses that. She feels your hesitation like static in the air. You might think you're being respectful, but she feels distance, not safety. And here's the paradox. Women fall for men who are both calm and receptive. When she throws that soft emotional signal, that question, she's not challenging you. She's extending a thread. The men who notice, who gently pull that thread with curiosity and warmth, build instant chemistry, not through performance, but through presence. So when she asks you, "Do you believe in fate?" or "Why are you smiling?" don't give a factual answer. Give her emotional truth. Say something that reveals your essence. Maybe it's, "Because I like the energy right now," or "I believe in timing more than fate." You're not flirting, you're inviting her to feel you. And when she feels that emotional congruence, that sense that your words, eyes, and tone all align, her guard drops. Because now she's not just attracted, she's intrigued. That's the stage where real connection begins, and where most men never reach, because they stay trapped in logic while she's communicating through emotion. If you can step out of that logical frame and speak from emotional groundedness instead, you'll stop missing those invitations and start receiving them. Here's what most men don't realize. When a woman hits on you through questions, she's revealing a hidden part of herself that very few people get to see. That small act of curiosity is her way of lowering her armor. But women are not obvious when they do this because they've been taught that being too forward risks judgment. So instead, she hides her desire inside questions. That's why you must learn to listen between her words, not just to them. For example, when she asks, "Why are you still single?" Most men hear a challenge, but in reality, that question means, "I can't believe someone like you isn't taken, and I'm trying to understand if I have a chance." When she says, "Are you always this confident?" she's not critiquing you. She's curious about the stability she feels in your energy. It's her way of saying, "You make me feel something I can't quite name." And the way you respond in that moment can either deepen her attraction or quietly dissolve it. Older men often underestimate how much subtlety women use to express interest. She might laugh at your comments more than they deserve. She might ask meaningless things about your day or pretend to need help she doesn't actually need. It's not manipulation, it's instinct. She's creating emotional safety before exposing her full attraction. Women flirt emotionally before they flirt physically. This is why emotional awareness becomes your greatest strength. Because when you can sense her hidden intentions, you move differently. You're not chasing. You're tuning in. You make her feel understood without her having to explain herself. And that sense of being emotionally seen is what makes women fall harder than anything else. Here's the paradox that separates confident men from confused ones. When she's hitting on you subtly, she doesn't want you to react like a hunter. She wants you to respond like a man who's already chosen himself, calm, centered, attentive. She wants to feel that you could pursue her, but you don't need to. That contrast is what makes her pulse quicken. So next time she asks something small, don't rush to impress. Just slow down, breathe, and speak truthfully. That relaxed authenticity is what makes her drop her guard completely, because it tells her this man is emotionally safe but not predictable. And that's the kind of man women can't stop thinking about long after the conversation ends. There's a hidden power in how you respond to a woman's curiosity. And it's not about words, it's about energy leadership. When she asks something that feels light, random, or slightly playful, she's handing you a moment of emotional control. What you do with it determines whether she keeps investing in that energy or shuts it down. Most men either freeze or overperform. They become too serious, or they try too hard to be charming. Both break the natural rhythm of attraction. What women crave, especially when drawn to older men, is ease. That sense that you can guide the moment without needing to dominate it. When you meet her subtle question with calm presence, she feels that you're emotionally anchored. You're not seeking validation. You're not flustered by feminine energy. You're simply observing, grounded, and responsive. That creates an irresistible polarity. Because in a world full of men trying to get attention, the man who can hold attention effortlessly stands apart. That's the man she remembers. So when she says, "You're quiet," is that a good thing or bad thing? Don't explain or apologize. Smile and say, "Depends on who I'm quiet with." You've just shifted the energy, gently, confidently, back to connection. Or when she teases you with, "You seem hard to read," you can say, "Only if you're trying too hard to figure me out." That's emotional mastery, playful without pressure, confident without arrogance. Older men who understand this dynamic naturally project emotional maturity that younger men often lack. It's not about having more experience, it's about having more stillness. You've seen enough of life to know that attraction is not something you chase, it's something you allow. The moment you stop trying to control the outcome, she feels it, and she relaxes into the interaction. Remember this, women test emotional awareness more than physical appeal. They notice how you make them feel in the uncertain moments. When conversation fades, when eye contact lingers, when she throws that small, ambiguous question your way, that's where attraction is built. If you meet that energy with quiet confidence, she doesn't just feel interest, she feels safe attraction. Because the truth is, every time a woman asks something small, she's whispering a bigger question underneath. Can I trust this man with my energy? If your calm presence answers yes, even without words, she'll keep finding reasons to ask you more. And that's when you'll realize she wasn't just asking questions, she was opening doors. Here's the truth that most men never grasp until it's too late. When a woman asks you a question to flirt, she's not just starting a conversation, she's starting a story. A quiet, emotional dance between her intuition and your presence. And how that story unfolds depends on one thing only: your ability to stay grounded in who you are. Because the moment you start performing, overanalyzing, or trying to win her, the spell breaks, the energy dies. But when you stand calm, unbothered, and sincerely engaged, you become the man who makes her feel safe to be feminine. This is where older men, when conscious, hold a secret advantage. You've lived, you've felt heartbreak, success, failure, loss, and that gives your energy a depth younger men can't fake. Women feel that. They're not looking for a perfect man. They're looking for one whose presence feels like a pause in their chaos. And when she asks that small question, "Do you believe in signs?" Or, "You seem so composed. How?" She's not being random. She's emotionally scanning for that depth. She's hoping you'll meet her with understanding, not ego. If you want to connect with her heart, stop trying to decode her logic and start tuning into her emotions. Women communicate attraction in whispers, not announcements. They hint because it's safer, because it allows them to protect their vulnerability until you've proven that you can handle it with care. Every man who fails to see this ends up misreading her kindness as friendliness, her warmth as politeness, and her curiosity as coincidence. But the man who notices, who sees through her emotional language, becomes unforgettable. So here's your challenge. The next time a woman asks you something that catches you off guard, don't answer right away. Breathe. Look her in the eyes. Let her feel that calmness, that stillness that says, "You're safe to be yourself here." Then respond from truth, not performance. That's how you turn a passing moment into lasting intrigue. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't about chasing signals, it's about mastering awareness. Once you learn that a woman's questions are often her way of reaching toward you, not away, you'll see that she's not trying to hide interest. She's trying to feel safe showing it. And that awareness alone can change your entire dating life.